That was pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, we match. Anyways, hey, welcome YouTube. My name is Jim, and this is Kim, and we are God's 411. And we're just going to come on today with a encouraging word for you guys. We're going to answer two questions too, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys
Good
are watching,
questions.
good questions,
Yeah.
right? So if you guys are watching this on the replay, I will put in the little links, the starting time, so you could just like whoop, fast forward to the question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I always like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to listen to the whole video and it's going blah 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 blah. Right?
Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay. So let's just get into the message.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So every morning we spend time with God every morning.
Absolutely.
Right? It's important. It's really important for you guys to do that. I mean, you should. And even just reading the Bible, I just kind of do what I feel. So if I get bored of something, I don't read it. I find something that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I am reading about David. And David, King David, and he just fascinates me. And I love, do you like David? Do you guys like David? Do you like King David?
I actually did a Bible study on it. My mother and I are doing it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always enjoy reading like Bible characters and reading honestly how much of a screw up they were, yet they're in the Bible.
I know.
You know what I mean, right?
Like these almighty great characters, and you're like, oh my gosh, they didn't do anything bad because they're in the Bible, but that's true.
Right. So it helps. I think it helps us realize sometimes I think we have to be perfect, and God is so I don't know, perfect. I mean, sometimes I think we feel that he's so judgmental and has like a magnifying glass on our lives that, it helps for me to realize these guys were human.
Right.
Anyways, David fascinates me because in the Bible, and I believe if I'm correct, he is the only one called, see if I'm right, a man after God's own heart. And that just fascinates me because David, honestly, if you really looked at the character of David, he was a screw up.
Yeah.
I mean, he committed murder, right? He committed adultery. He was a terrible father with his children. But the thing that I think that I love about David, and I think why he is called a man after God's own heart, is because he would mess up, right? And instead of wallowing and saying, oh, woe is me, I screwed up, God doesn't love me, yada, 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 he just, boom, gets on his hands and knees, asks for forgiveness, and gets right with God.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge lesson for us because sometimes I think we get down on ourselves, like we screwed up. Satan starts to play those tactics. He starts to mess with your mind, saying God doesn't love you. Yeah. He's not going to forgive you. But David just, boom, I screwed up. I messed up. And sometimes, he had to have like his Nathan and other seers tell him, hey, you screwed up. And he never really argued with him.
Right.
He just said, you're right, I screwed up.
Right.
Do you like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, it makes the little people like us
the little people,
like, we can be forgiven.
Yeah.
And that God still loves us.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
He really does.
He does.
Yeah.
And the other thing I also liked about David is, and I don't think we do this enough, and this is important, is like whenever David had to make a decision, like, whether he had to fight the Amalekites or, he had to fight this, he would always ask God, should I do this?
Right.
And then God would answer him. And I don't believe that we in our everyday life include God in a lot of our decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Well, yeah, even the small decisions, we should just include him because he likes that.
Yeah.
He wants to be there with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to be a part of your everyday life.
Yeah.
And I also like that about, like I said, like David, is he just, and I think little decisions will, of course not. Should I wear a red shirt or a blue shirt today? I mean, yes, you could.
You
could. Yeah, totally.
With including him about it. But
But I think big decisions in life seek God. Yeah. And, he may not answer you right away.
Right.
As
we all know.
As we all know.
And pray, and we're like, God, how come you're not answering me, right? That's a whole nother video.
Another big topic.
Yeah.
So anyways, hope that guys, why do I say it? I always say that. I always say that. I always say, hope you guys encouraged you. I hope that encouraged you.
Guys.
I just have like diarrhea in the mouth sometimes when I talk. Just too much and too fast, and it's just all not good. Okay, so if you guys have questions, we're going to answer 2 of our questions from our fans. I'm going to answer the important one, and Kim is going to answer the least important one. No, they're all important, right?
Yeah. They're both important.
They're both important.
Yeah, they're
so,
good questions.
Yeah, they are.
That's what I like about YouTube is you guys ask really good questions.
You guys ask good
I
questions.
mean, they're really good, deep thinking. They're really good questions. There's no dumb question, but a lot of you ask some really good thinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it makes us think, and we have to go, well, I don't know. We better look that up.
Right.
Because I don't want to tell you something that's not true.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you guys do have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below, and then we do our next live video. We will.
Or if you want an opinion, even. A lot of you ask. Well, a lot of you ask a lot of, especially right now when we have all these hot topics out there in our world.
Yeah.
You guys ask our Christian opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, first one. I thought this was really good. Okay. This was a gentleman, and he says, I was wondering, this is a really good question. When God forgives me of my sins, he casts it as far as the east is to the west and remembers them no more. If he does, then why at the judgment, the great white throne, the judgment seat, will God go over my whole life of all the good and bad? That was a really good question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. So first part, yes, you're absolutely right. When you sin and you ask for forgiveness, 1 John 1:9, God forgives you. But God has given us free will and accountability of our own lives to do whatever we want to do. So at the great white throne, even though, yes, you are absolutely forgiven, Jesus paid the price on the cross, you will have to give an account for what God has given you. I mean, he's given you your life, he's given you talents, he's given you gifts, and he's going to want to know, and he's going to want to go over, what did you do with this life that I gave you? And I thought of a couple other good verses. I think at this time, they're going to separate the sheep and the goats, I believe. The people that are going to go to hell, right? And the people that go to heaven. And that is found in Matthew 25, 31 through 46. And another kind of good parable, which kind of describes accountability or what you did with your life, is the parable of the talents. So that's the parable of the talents.
Oh.
So if you remember, it's about a guy or a headmaster, someone who's authoritative, gives each one a talent, and he tells them to go out and do whatever they're supposed to do. One comes back and he hid it, so he didn't even use it. Right. Another one comes back and he did tenfold. Another one comes back and he did 100-fold. So that's kind of like, what did you do with your life that God gave you? That can be found in Matthew 25. Matthew 25. Matthew 25, 14 through 30, parable of talents. And in closing, I also believe that the Bible speaks a lot of times about rewards. Yeah. About what you did with your life and the people that were rewarded for what they did. And I think that maybe will take place at that time too. The rewards for being a good and faithful servant and doing that. And that is found in Matthew, of course, 16:27.
Matthew, of course.
Yeah. So it's a really good question.
That's a really
very good question. Okay, so you have the next question.
Oh, I get to read the question.
The next question.
Which one is it? This one? Okay.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So let's see. I have no one seems to be able to answer. Okay. When Christian who is saved passes. So when a Christian who is saved passes,
dies,
does his spirit remain on earth till the second coming, or does it go to heaven when he passes? Right. Good question.
Very good question.
Yeah. So when you pass, your loved one passes, or you pass, your spirit goes to heaven. Right. So when the second coming happens, then the bodies on earth will meet the spirits together in the sky with Jesus.
And be
So we all we come back together and we have that body again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so really,
Heaven and earth.
right. Then and so you're really just, your body is just a tent. I was like, your body's just a tent for your spirit.
Yeah.
And the hunk of flesh and all the organs and stuff that really will stay here. And then good question.
That's a good question.
Very good question.
Yes, thank you guys for asking such thought-provoking questions.
Thought-provoking. And again, you guys have questions. If you're watching this on the replay, plop them in below. And I think that's it.
It is.
Hope you guys enjoyed that message.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, whatever you do.
Say hi.
Say hi, say ho.
Say hi.
Yo!
And have a really great day, and God bless you all. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.